Okay.
Shit, I thought, all right, fuck it, whatever. Welcome back. Another episode of Hard Blocks here, Vendetta Sports Media YouTube channel. We're hitting the ground running. Don't give a shit about it. Down there at the bottom of the screen is Chickster. Every single week, we take a look at the NFL slate of games, pick them on spread, see who's the better. Chickster, how are we doing?
I'm good. I got told last week that it was too long and I need to cut my rants out. So we're just going to be straight
I did
business
not
today.
say you had to cut your rants out. All I said was we should try to shorten the video a little bit.
The people came to see a show.
And you know what?
I'm a
You
performer.
you certainly give us a show. That's for sure.
I'm a performer. Like
I
I
get
did.
it.
So it's what it is.
You go off, girl. All right.
But I will stay. I'll stay off my Helen Keller rants, I guess.
To go over the records last week.
That bitch better not come up though.
Both Alex and I crushed last week. Alex did better than I. He went 10-5 last week. Another huge week for him. Double digits in the win column. I went 9-6. Pretty respectable.
Yes.
It's a good week. Overall records for the year, Alex is absolutely crushing. He's 55, 37, and 1. I am 49, 43, and 1. So we're not I'm not making up ground yet, but we're widening that gap on 500.
The key word there is yet. And I'm staying humble here because, I feel like if I start being cocky, I'm gonna lose.
Well, I'm telling you, one more week of you doing really well, and if I have a real shit week, I'm buying dog ear headphones to combat your cat ear headphones, and we're gonna go to war.
Oh no!
I'm buying Diego headphones.
Oh, shout out to Diego. Diego made a cameo. Good.
That's right. All the homies love Diego. All right, we're going to start with the Thursday night matchup this week. Jacksonville is playing New Orleans. New Orleans is -1.5. I saw a stat today that New Orleans game. Okay, let me figure out how to phrase this properly. Games the Saints have played in have not hit the over for like 14 straight weeks or 12 straight weeks or something like that. And the line here is 39.5. So, I mean, that's just a little fun fact. You can do whatever you want with it, I guess. I think I don't really know what to make of this game because New Orleans offense hasn't looked great. But on the other side, Trevor Lawrence is a little banged up. He's probably going to play, but his status is up in the air with his knee injury.
Is that why this spread? I was like, there's just no reason why this spread should be like this.
I have no clue, to be honest, because I feel like this is a no-brainer.
I was going to put this on free money. I was going to start out with the free money.
Let's hear it. Let's hear your pick then.
Oh, Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not only is Jacksonville, going to win this game, but right now they're underdogs. What the fuck? No. Some slight.
Yeah, them being underdogs seems a bit interesting to me. What
does Vegas know? What do they know?
Nothing. I would argue that Chickster might know more than Vegas right now.
Chickster knows a lot more than. See, I can't do that because if I do that, no, but I was gonna say.
I tried.
Before I became a new man 4 seconds ago, and 4 seconds is a long time. That Chickster became. What? No, I was gonna say Chickster is smarter than a lot of people, but then I realized that's not true because I am a humble piece of shit that doesn't want to fuck up his record. So
not only calls himself humble, he also degrades himself to show how humble he is. But little do I know that's a kink of his. Moving on. We've got Atlanta +2.5 traveling to Tampa to play the Bucks. Tampa Bay is -2.5. Alex, what are your thoughts?
I don't like this one. We just went from free to expensive because you just don't like the Buccaneers. You kind of have an idea of what kind of team they are, but they did not play well. Granted, they played the Lions, but I thought I took the over on that game. I thought it was gonna be high scoring. Baker Mayfield did not play well. The Falcons have Desmond Ridder, and that's basically all you need to fucking know about that team. Is he single-handedly loses them games? I don't know why the Falcons. I think the Falcons are going to be trying to get a quarterback at the trade deadline. I'm not sure why Taylor Heineke hasn't started yet. I feel like Taylor Heineke has a better option at winning for them. I'm gonna go Bucks here. 3-point spread. I think they can do that. I think Baker Mayfield. I mean, he flat out said I sucked last week, so I think he's gonna try to play a little bit better. Even though this Falcons secondary is the Falcons really have built a pretty good team, but I think the Buccaneers are gonna scrape this one out.
I have written down Tampa Bay, and you said both sides of the argument that I was going to make for either side of the pick. Tampa's offense did not look very good last week. Baker said after the game that he sucked. He was aware of it. He did not play well. I'd like to imagine he's going to want to come out at home, fired up, fix it.
For sure.
Atlanta's got a good secondary.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates, and they traded for Jeff Okudah, and Jeff Okudah is finally starting to play good football.
Oh, like a top 5 corner that he was, a cornerback out of the draft he was, and I mean Atlanta got a steal for him.
I think that I will stick with Tampa.
I got it. Garrett, I got an extra little for Tampa here.
Okay.
What jerseys are they wearing? Do we know?
They just wore the creamsicles.
So, but they're not going to wear them this week, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that was the fucking problem.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that, to be honest.
Those jerseys are flat out
good.
Ugly. I don't understand why
not
people
good.
like. No, they're not good jerseys. They're fucking awful. And when you look awful,
you play awful.
You play awful. You feel like when you look awful, you feel awful. You're gonna play awful. I'm gonna put that on that. Okay, 6 points. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
It's a good point, to be honest with you.
When you go to the gym, like you want to be feeling yourself. You gotta look, and you're like, oh yeah, and then you're kind of like, oh, let me get an extra. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta feel good to look good. You know what I'm saying? So,
look good, feel good, play good.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think I'm gonna blame it on the creamsicle. You know what? The ones that the Bucks should go back to is the really like dark tan, and then kind of like the brown pants, right? They're brown, and then just the red jerseys, and then like the brown helmet with the helmet. That you know what I'm talking about? Kind of like the one. No
clue.
No shot.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't picture it. Here, right, you pull it up for the people. I'll start the next game.
Stop rushing me. I'm going.
Okay.
All right.
NFC East matchup here. Washington -2 traveling to the Meadowlands to play the Giants. The Giants played the shit out of Buffalo on Monday. It was absurd. Yeah. I think my pick here doesn't hinge on if Daniel Jones or Tyrod Taylor's playing. This is one of my free money games of the week. I'm hammering Washington.
I am big on Washington as well. I'm trying. I got Warren Sapp pulled up because I remember that motherfucker played. I'm trying to find a good picture here. This motherfucker is goofy looking.
While you look that up, I think the biggest key here is the quarterback position, and it's all on the development of Sam Howell this year. Sam Howell has played really good football for the Commanders.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it's interesting that like the national media is not giving Sam Howell a lot of credit, it seems like.
No,
it seems like
not.
everywhere I'm hearing, everyone's saying that the Commanders are a bad football team, this, that, and the other. And that's not necessarily the case. I think there is a kind of a sore spot with this Commanders team right now, and that is the play of Emmanuel Forbes, who they took, I believe, 16th overall.
He looks awful right now
in the draft. Yeah, Forbes he's not playing very good ball this year, which is crazy because I think in the preseason and maybe like week 1 or so, Forbes was playing really good football. And maybe this is a bounce back game because the Giants don't really have any receivers. So maybe if he shuts down a couple of passes against some bummy receivers, it might boost his confidence. Let's zoom in here.
Yeah. Well, shit. If I could get the glare off, there we go.
I think those are like gray pants. Those look gray to me. Moving on.
Garrett, I don't know how to. Garrett, I just don't know how to. Garrett, I don't know how to tell you this, but
we're gonna move on.
I feel like the people decide that I think they need to know.
Let us know in the comments if you're an employee of Vendetta. Let us know in the Slack just how fucking wrong I am. I guess I'm a bitch. Let's go.
I picked Washington as well.
Great,
Free
love
money for
that.
Washington. Free money for Washington
He's
as
also
well.
taking free money for Washington. That's great. Cleveland's -2.5. Go traveling to Indianapolis to play the Colts. Colts are likely to be without Anthony Richardson all year. Gardner Minshew is the guy at quarterback. This Cleveland defense is for real.
No, they're
This
nasty.
Cleveland defense basically won them the game against San Francisco, which
Did
it,
they, or
it
did just Brock Purdy suck?
it's worth
Did
saying
he just
that
suck?
it's worth saying that when Debo got banged up, when Trent Williams got banged up, when CMC missed the rest of that game, the offense stalled.
Brock Purdy is the MVP. How? How could the offense stall like this?
That would have been the argument for the Brock Purdy MVP believers if he would have led that drive to go in, not got them in field goal range, not got them in field goal range. If he would have drove them down and scored a touchdown with no weapons, essentially, all you had is Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle was a ghost the entire game. He was a ghost. He was a non-factor. If you would have been without Debo and without CMC, and you would have gone down there, then you could have said, "Yep, Purdy won us that game." But no, you're missing your weapons, and that's what the argument is for Purdy believers: is that he could play with anybody. I don't. If you put him in Houston, he's not playing better than C.J. Stroud.
No. Like there's like a discussion that he's like a top 10 quarterback, and I'm just like,
No,
where? He is a really good system quarterback. He doesn't fuck it up. You want to know how I know that? Because Jimmy G was that fucking quarterback where everyone was sucking Jimmy G's dick, right? And now he plays for the Raiders and he looks fucking awful. Like when you get system quarterbacks like that, yeah, they play good and then they start winning good. Like they start winning and then you're like, oh, these guys are good. They're not fucking good. It's a system.
I'm
It's a
assuming you're
system.
taking Cleveland as well.
I am taking Cleveland as well. Deshaun Watson might be back too, which will help.
I sure hope so because I have him in a dynasty league, so that'd be pretty sweet. This one also confuses me quite a bit. The Detroit Lions, I'm just gonna say it, are one of the best teams in football. They are. They're one of the best teams in football. They're 5-1 in the year. The offense is high powered. Just got Jameson Williams back. The
Well,
defense ain't to be fucked with.
bet best one of the best in football. Like what are we talking about here? What like when you say that phrase, what do you can you specify?
They are one of the top 8 to 6 teams in the NFL.
6 to 8?
Yeah. They fall in that category, and I think they're 6.
Okay.
I don't think I could put them in top 5 yet, but I'm putting them at 6. I think they are
They
a
would be
great team.
around 7 or 8 for me. Bless you. But well, Garrett, I don't know. We were told that this team was not
Had
winning the
no
NFC
shot
North.
to win the division.
I don't
No
know if it was
shot.
no shot, but it was there was a heavy disbelief that the Lions were going to win the division, and we were like, no. These guys
It's
can
their
play.
division.
These guys can play. So yeah, I agree. The offense is high powered. I think the defense is average, maybe on certain weeks a little bit higher than average. I don't know. The Ravens just don't seem like they have it. They just I don't know. You know what I'm saying? They just kind of like you're just like, oh yeah, the Ravens are good, and then they just don't do good things. They don't.
They
They
don't
took
impress you.
no, they don't. They really don't. They who'd they play last week? And it was a very unimpressive win for them.
Baltimore last week. Did one of us pick Baltimore?
Tennessee. They played Tennessee. Oh wait, that was one of. I think that was free money for us. They picked Tennessee, or they played Tennessee, and I mean, they stalled in the red zone multiple times. Just kicked field goals the entire time. Um, Garrett, if I may, and this is why I'm not necessarily super high on the Lions yet. Yet, I say. They beat the Chiefs week one. We both picked that game. Mostly because we were like, well, one, Chiefs don't have Travis Kelce, plus Super Bowl hangover, whatever. Week two, they lost to the Seahawks. Week 3, 4, 5, and 6 was Falcons, Packers, Panthers, and Bucks, and I feel like those are games they should have won. Um, and I mean, I can't fault them for their schedule. I'm not going to fault them from their schedule. I just don't think they're. You kind of allude to it. They're not in that top 5 range yet. You're a little bit higher on them as you have been since last year. I'm a little bit lower on them. I think they're closer to 10 than they are to 5. That's just me personally. But yeah, no, this Ravens team is just unimpressive. Like you think they're going to be good, Lamar Jackson. I don't want to, jump on the and like kick a dead horse, but everyone in the media is kind of on Lamar Jackson, but you know, we kind of knew who he was. Like we knew who he was coming out, and I do agree with some media members saying, "Hey, Lamar Jackson gets this type of hate, but what about this guy not getting this type of hate, or this guy getting that type of hate?" And I agree with that. Like Brock Purdy deserves more hate than Lamar Jackson does. I feel like. However, that's where the cookie crumbles. Uh, I'm taking the Lions +3 is actually disrespectful after they just put a fucking thumping on the Bucks too. So maybe they're like, oh, this is the Lions' first team they played in a few weeks that they're like actual have competition. I'm not sure that's true.
My thought is you're 100% right about the schedule. Like we cannot fault them for the schedule they've played. I almost think I almost think it works in their favor in the thought of this team has never been more confident than they are right now. And a confident team is going to play above their means.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is the game where if both these teams had identical records, then Baltimore, especially at home, could pull this out. But I think with how hot Detroit has been as of late, I think the confidence and they're just going to play above their means.
Yeah, I mean they got people thinking Jared Goff is good, so. And I'm not a Goff guy.
I know you're not a Goff guy.
That's a Jared Goof. He's a goof. He's a
We
goofball.
basically only referred to him as Jared Goof in our group chat, and we really have Trey to thank for that because he was the originator of calling him Jared Goof.
Yeah, and I think Jared Goof just originated from one just being a typo, and then you're like, wait a minute,
this fits.
This fits.
Wait
this
a second.
Works. And so no one just fixed it. No one fixed it. And it's just Jared Goof. Jared Goof.
We've got the Chicksters here, the Fighting Chicksters. We've got the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Chicago. Vegas is 3-point favorites.
Yep.
I'm going to go first here to get my thoughts out of the way.
I'm glad.
Alex is going to give, hopefully, an abbreviated rant on why they're going to blow this game.
Jesus.
I know you. I know how you operate, and you're going to do this long-winded speech about how they're going to blow this game to Chicago. I know that's going to happen.
I really don't know about this game, but I'm gonna hear your thoughts.
I'm going to take Las Vegas. It's not free money. This is an expensive game.
Fuck, this is expensive.
I just think that for the offensive woes, let's call it what it is. For how bad the offense has struggled for Las Vegas the past couple of weeks, and really for the most part the entire season, the defense doesn't get a ton of credit.
No, they don't.
The defense hasn't been great all the time.
No, and I have a reason for that, but I will have my brand now.
They have stretches of football where they play really good defense. Yeah. And I think that Max Crosby is going to tear up this Chicago offensive line. I would place a bet for Max Crosby to have 2 or more sacks. Not just 1. I think he gets 2 or more sacks on Sunday. I think what is the over-under on here? 37.5. I take the under. Under's hitting. I don't care. It's a low-scoring game. But I think as crazy as it sounds, I think the defense for Las Vegas plays a factor in them covering this game by 3 or more.
I wrote it in my overreactions post, but Patrick Graham's a good fucking coach because I'm gonna tell you right now, all of the money, the salary cap for the Raiders goes to the fucking offense. and the defense plays better than the offense. And I said that in the post, and I said the bar is low for the offense, so I understand. Yeah, well, of course the defense plays better. The offense fucking sucks, but this defense isn't bad. It's really not. And it starts with Max Crosby. And you said like they play. They're not great. They're not great. I'll sit here and tell you they're not great. However, uh, there's not a lot of talent on that defense. There's a couple bright spots here and there. Max Crosby being one of them. Corners and safeties have their days, but you know these guys are for the most part are in the right spot, making plays. And so this defense has really kept us like the offense. The Raiders offense still has not scored 19 points or 20 points. They scored 19 last week, but the Max Crosby got a sack and to put him at 21. That was the first time the Raiders scored 21 points in a game this season, or over 20 points this season, and it was because of a fucking safety. Like there's this offense fucking sucks, and I'm just glad Josh McDaniel figured out that we have a second round pick in Michael Mayer that we picked, which I was not a fan of. I did not like that pick.
That is true. I remember.
I wanted Brian Branch. I wanted Jalen Carter at fucking 7, but
Oh,
don't get
here
me
we
started
go.
on that. You know how to get it in there, but
His Roman Empire.
fuck, I don't. This game is. I think, and you know what's crazy? Max Crosby really didn't have that good of a game last game, but he ended the game really well with the safety, obviously. So, um, I'm I'm gonna go Raiders. I don't hope for injuries, guys. I'm not that type of, but fuck. I think Jimmy G needs his fucking rest. Let's just say it that way. Okay, so
One thing that should be mentioned as well is that Justin Fields probably isn't playing because of his thumb. It's
oh
Tyson.
yes,
It's Tyson Bagent
oh yeah. Why are
getting
we
the
not
start
taking
at
the Raiders?
quarterback.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
I
never
just
mind.
thought of that because you talked about injuries, and I was like, wait a second, Fields is hurt. So,
Yeah, so it's the Raiders all day. I hope Aiden O'Connell starts though.
yeah, you and me both, because I think he can sling it, and he deserves another shot instead of just playing the one game, having a bunch of turnovers, and the coaching staff like, no, thank you,
The
too many
coaching staff,
turnovers.
just Josh McDaniel. The offensive coordinator said he played fine. He played great. And I was like, he fucking Josh McDaniel just went for his fucking head, and I was like, good God. But it's worth noting that when Jimmy G got out and Brian Hoyer went out, old ass Brian Hoyer that I didn't want to go in the game in the first place, this boy was fucking slinging it, and that opened up the run game for him. So it's really Jimmy G that can't fuck like, and I said that he's got a fucking noodle arm. Like, goddamn, he looks like fucking what's it, Noodle Bob? What's his fucking
Doodle
name?
Bob?
Doodle Bob, not Noodle Bob,
You're talking
but
about Doodle Bob.
Doodle Bob with the noodle arms throwing the fucking
Hoi,
ball.
oi, manoi, oi,
Yeah,
manoi.
yeah. There we go. We need that as the fucking cover picture. There you go. You're welcome. I got it. I got him. I got him, guys. But no, for sure. I hope it's Aiden O'Connell, but the Raiders should win that game. But fuck, and then what's Garrett? The bad thing about this, I know we're almost done. The Raiders are going to start winning games, and we're just going to go farther down this draft order to just not pick a quarterback that I really want.
You could trade up.
Well, that's expensive.
To get a quarterback, though. There's quarterbacks in this class.
I know. I hope the Raiders don't trade Renfro. Hey, yeah, Josh McDaniel, can we use Hunter Renfro? Maybe. Just maybe. The guy's fucking good. I don't know I don't know if he fucked your wife or whatever.
That
Like,
that
but
is kind of
Jesus Christ.
confusing that they just refuse to put. Trey wrote an article about it that Josh McDaniel apparently hates
Yeah, no,
Hunter
he
Renfro.
hates him.
Hates him.
He
I
fucking
don't know what
hates him.
happened.
I don't know either. And I mean, you watch fucking highlights on this guy. This guy's footwork is like immaculate. It is
It's
fucking
disgusting.
disgusting. It is disgusting. So I kind of hope they don't have anyone. They don't trade Hunter Renfro. We hire a new coach and find a fucking coach that's going to use him, like Ben Johnson. Please,
Is that crazy?
please. I know? Is that crazy? All right, sorry. Enough about the Raiders. Raiders podcast.
We've got an AFC East matchup here. We've got Buffalo, who looked like fucking garbage against the Giants. Traveling to New England, who has looked like fucking garbage since week 1 of the NFL season. Ramondre Stevenson's apparently a little banged up. We don't know if Mac's gonna play the full game. They called it Malik Cunningham to the active roster. I'd be interested to see if they use Malik Cunningham a little bit more after with like a full week of practice, maybe getting him a little more involved in the offense. I genuinely don't know how to pick this game.
I'm picking Buffalo.
Because on the surface, this should seem like a no-brainer. It should seem like a no-brainer. But Buffalo looked so bad against the Giants that it's making me terrified to pick this game.
So Brian DeBoer is a great coach. And all fucking last year, this offseason, people were trying to tell me that Daniel Jones can actually play, and he can't. He can't play. Tyrod Taylor's better than him. I put in the overreactions post on vendetta.sportsmedia.com. That's where I was talking about the Patrick Graham too. But, you know, Brian DeBoer can coach. Tyrod Taylor just gave the Giants a little bit of fucking hope. I feel like when you don't have it as bad as a quarterback as Daniel Jones in there, and guy can move the fucking ball, yeah, like it helps. I think the Bills may have underestimated that. No, they did not play well. The thing about Sean McDermott is if he has those regular season bad games, they don't really have too many strings of them. And the Patriots look like, the crack gets bigger by the day. Like we're looking at an earthquake and we're getting the aftershocks, and everything's just, you know what I'm saying? It looks horrible right now. I mean, they lost to the fucking Raiders, so and Jack Saban fucking picked them to beat the Raiders, so fuck him. But yeah, no, I'm gonna go Bills here.
All right, you talked me into it. I'll take Buffalo.
Cool.
Next game up on the slate. Pittsburgh traveling out west to Los Angeles to play the Rams. LA is -3. I'll let Chickster go first.
One question. Is Matt Canada calling the plays?
I refuse to answer that question at this time.
I just need to know if Matt Canada's calling the plays so I can pick who's going to win.
Got it. LA -3.
Okay.
That was simple. Couple things worth noting here. I'm going to keep it real brief.
Well, you better keep it real brief because I got told that I can't have my rants.
Literally no. Anyway, you almost got me. You almost got me.
I did.
If Mike Tomlin and Matt Canada roll out Dan fucking Moore at left tackle, I will riot. I'll riot. It makes no sense. Dan Moore has started 4 games this year, and he is among the league leaders in allowed pressures through 4 games played. What week are we in, Alex?
6.
Oh, got it. We're going into week 7. He's played 4 games among the most allowed pressures in the NFL. Makes no sense. Tell me why they wouldn't start Broderick Jones, who played against Baltimore in his last game and played well.
I don't know.
Also, this is the game that you start Joey Porter Jr. You have to. They are dropping Desmond King. Desmond King's not going to be on the roster anymore. They cut him. I kind of liked Desmond King. I think he needed more of a role in the defense. He needed more snaps, and it's a shame. I think whoever will pick him up off of waivers, or maybe once he clears waivers, obviously when he signs his free agent somewhere, he'll be a decent ad. They picked up Darius Rush, I think, off of somebody's practice squad. I think he's a rookie this year. Chiefs. Thank you. You have to start Joey Porter. This is the week when you're going up against Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, and you've got you have an elite receiver on one side and an emerging star on the other. You have to put out your best defensive backs. Joey Porter has to start this game. I just don't think both of those things are going to happen. I don't. I think.
So what are you going to do?
I am taking Los Angeles because the Steelers' offense is not great, and the Rams have a underrated defense. I'm not going to call them like good or great or whatever. I think people are slightly sleeping on the Rams defense. They don't have a bad defense at all. I'm going to take Los Angeles.
Okay.
We've got a NFC West matchup here. We've got Arizona traveling up the coast to play Seattle. Seattle is -7.5. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't. I I'm kind of tempted to take Arizona.
This is a good line.
It makes you think.
Vegas put out a good line because anyone that bets on this can see either or.
Who did Arizona play last week?
That's what I was just about to ask you. So obviously you don't know. I
Well,
will look.
whoever Arizona played, we took the other team because I don't have Arizona written down here.
We did take the other team. They played the Rams.
They did play the Rams and they got curb stomped.
I'm gonna pick Seattle. I think James Conner's on IR, and I think that is horrible. I think Seattle's gonna be fine. We'll go Seattle.
I'm also taking Seattle, but I don't have a ton of confidence in it. I wouldn't be shocked if Arizona covers, but for the sake of the picks, I'm going to pick Seattle.
Yo,
We've
look
got
at this game.
yeah, this is a pick 'em essentially here. We've got Green Bay traveling out west again to play the Broncos. Broncos are home dogs, +1.5. Uh, Neither team is great. Let's call a spade a spade. Neither team's very good. Jordan Love absolutely stinks to the surprise of literally nobody,
Maybe to DJ.
except maybe to Alex's cousin DJ. If you're watching this, many apologies, sort of. I think I, I have no clue. I have no clue to bet here.
Neither do I. This is as expensive as it can get here.
Like this might be the most expensive game of the week.
Uh, I'm gonna go. I am going to go.
I'm gonna go Denver.
I'm gonna go Denver as well. I think I know the Packers are coming off a bye, but the Broncos are also coming off a mini bye. Um, for better or for worse, and everyone can have their own opinions about it. They didn't play horrible. Let's not say that. I think the Chiefs played bad against the Broncos. But I don't know this. I'm that someone can talk shit to me about me picking the Broncos over the Packers on that game, and I would completely understand, and it would hurt my feelings, but I would understand. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Broncos. I don't feel good about it.
I don't. I have almost as little confidence. I have less confidence in that game than I do the Arizona Seattle game, where I do not have a ton of confidence in general.
No, I have no idea who's gonna win because you just don't know how the Broncos are gonna come out. Like, but the Packers have a good defense, but they have Jordan Love, and you're like, well, what the fuck is Jordan Love? And like, hey, take the over on fucking Russell Wilson and fucking what's the Jordan Love interceptions? Because holy shit, I think they're gonna be throwing them shits.
I kind of have a hot take here. It may not be a hot take, more so like a bold prediction.
Listen,
I think if Denver is losing this game at the half, and like it's not like let's say they're down 10. Okay, let's do this. If it's two or more scores at the half Denver's losing by, which I think it could go bad really quickly. I think they bench Russ.
for
I
who? Who's backup?
Jared Stidham.
Ah, Stiddy.
I think we're about to get into that range for Denver where if the offense still looks like shit, they're gonna bench Russ. And I think that time could be coming soon. So if they're losing at the half and it's not pretty, okay, even if it's like 10-7, but Russ is like 7 for 16 or some shit like that, I'd pull it.
Is it really Russell Wilson or is it the offense in general?
I think it's a mixture of both. Russ has his moments where he looks really good, and then you have games like last week where he looked like garbage. And I think it's both. I think it's a confidence thing with Russ. I think it's an offensive play calling / offensive scheme. It doesn't mesh. Nothing in this Broncos team right now meshes.
I think that's a good analysis, except for the defense. I think the defense is stout, especially their secondary. I think their secondary is disgusting. But
I would disagree on that part. I think Denver's defense this year is awful.
I wouldn't say it's awful. I'm sorry, not stout. I think their secondary is good.
I will agree with that. They have a good
That's what I
secondary.
meant.
Okay,
That's what I meant.
I understand. AFC West matchup. We've got the LA Chargers coming off of a tough loss against Dallas. They're playing Kansas City in Arrowhead. Kansas City's -5.5. I'm not calling this free money, but I think this is a no-brainer for Kansas City.
I what is Justin Herbert going to start getting some blame? Is it until Brandon Staley gets fired? Is that what we're waiting for?
I think
People, I'll say I was a little bit wrong on his talent. I was. I think he can play a little bit. I think he's a little bit talented, but I think for as much as this guy doesn't really do a lot to win or put up, like, there's flashes where you're like, holy shit, this guy's pretty good, and then there's just like, wow, fucking Justin Herbert lost this game. Wow, the Chargers lost this game. Wow, the Chargers lost this game. Like, we have too many. The Chargers lost this game for me to be this, like, for me to be like, oh yeah, we need to be high on Justin Herbert, especially if Justin Herbert's all star spangled banner as everyone says he is. Like, at the end of the day, when is he going to start? And so maybe if we wait till Brandon Staley leaves, that changes. But I at this moment, I don't see it.
as somebody who's in the camp of Justin Herbert being star spangled awesome, I genuinely think the blame could start to be given once Staley is fired and they bring in an offensive minded head coach, like a good
They have
offensive
Kellen
minded.
Moore.
I understand that, but Brandon Staley doesn't know how to be a head coach, and
That's fine.
this
Kellen
isn't
Moore's calling the
necessarily
plays.
this isn't necessarily an excuse of like you're putting all the blame on Staley. Staley deserves obviously a ton
Staley
of blame.
deserves. And there's
And
another video on our YouTube that they did. They did film breakdown. I think it was Trey and Jackson, and very good video. Go check that video out. It's a
and,
very, but
and don't get
yeah,
me wrong, Herbert is deserving of blame as well. This is not me saying, oh, he deserves no blame. He deserves blame. I get it. I don't think Los Angeles should hire a first-time head coach. I think they need to bring in someone who has head coached before to really bring a different perspective to the offense as my notebook falls. Maybe my notebook disagrees with me. I think that if that were the case and there are still struggles, then yes, it's time to start asking. I don't think it's time to ask questions yet. I think we are going that direction. I will agree. But I don't think it's time just yet to ask the questions on Herbert.
I don't know. I
You
just
you've never been a big Herbert guy though.
no, I haven't, and it's just not. I mean, like I said, there's sometimes I'm like, he has flashes of like just brilliant, like brilliance. Like, I'm like, wow, he's playing good, but you know, uh, he wasn't very impressive. He didn't score in the second half against the Raiders defense. Lost to Tennessee. Uh, Miami, I can understand. They lost first week. They lost to Miami. I can understand that. Minnesota only beat Minnesota by 4 points, and they have no defense. Just I don't like. Maybe it's the head coach, but maybe I'm like, well, shit. Like, you have Keenan Allen. They don't have Mike Williams anymore. Maybe that's hurting. Joshua Palmer is not a guy Quinton Johnson, we were both sold out on. We did not like him coming out of the draft. So I don't know. Maybe it's that Austin Eckler's in the backfield. He's back, and they played a tough Dallas defense. I get that, but I how many like it did not take this long for Tua to get as much hate as he gets. Like Tua is way more hated than Justin Herbert, and Tua has better results. And like the Tua haters wait for one fucking mishap, one bad game, and I can. There's more. There's been way more out of Justin Herbert, and he never gets that type of blame. So I'm inquiry is like okay when Brandon Staley gets fired, which is seems almost inevitable. He knows the writing's on the wall, but at some point we like some of this has to go on Herbert, which we'll see. But I'm also going to take the Chiefs on this one.
It is worth noting, for me at least, that I think I'm a little more hesitant to start the finger pointing and the blaming on Herbert as much, just because he is still so young. He entered the league at 22, was thrust into the role immediately. He's 25 years old. I think I don't want to call it like growing pains or like inexperience, because he's been a starter basically his entire career. The experience thing is kind of out the window. I think there's still time to figure it out.
No, there's not saying. I'm not saying that. I'm like, he might figure it out a couple years from now, and I'm just like,
Ugh.
but this game is horrible.
This game is disgusting. I hate this.
Because this is why, like, at first glance, I'm like, yeah, I think this is Miami, but the Eagles had a heart to heart. They had to come to Jesus moment. They lost to the Jets. Very good defense. They did not play very well, and offense really didn't play very well. And the offense hasn't been playing very well this entire year. Not to the level of what we expect from the Eagles. Eagles coming off a Super Bowl loss, looked so explosive last year. And it's not like they weren't winning games this year. They've been winning games, but you almost felt like a loss was coming because of how stagnant the offense looked. But they had to come to Jesus meeting. I think they're going to try to make it an emphasis for their offense to be on point. I mean, I think they're going to come out and I think they're going to play really hard. But it's hard to pick against Miami right now. Miami's getting everything they want offensively.
Miami has the number one passing offense and the number one rushing offense in the NFL right now.
Is this an over game? Like the over is 51.5. But I don't know.
I would maybe. I'd be tempted to take the over. It's 51.5. While Alex kind of goes back and forth and try to make up his mind, I'm gonna take Philadelphia. Alex kind of alluded to it, is that while the Jets do have a really good defense, they should have beat they should have beat the Jets, and they didn't. They lost to the Jets. And if I'm in that locker room, if I'm on that coaching staff, that absolutely cannot fly. We cannot have a performance like that again, especially with a team like Miami coming in. I would try to be ultra aggressive. I would try to pressure Tua as much as possible. I think this is their game where they're going to get their lick back, and they're going to want to try to reestablish themselves as one of the premier teams in the NFL. Not to say that they aren't. I still think that they are. I still think Philadelphia is one of the teams to beat in the NFL. They are in that 5 that we talked about a little earlier. They're in that 5. This is the game where they're going to have to put their nuts on the table and say, what are we going to do about this?
What are we going to do about this?
It's an expensive game, but I'm taking Philadelphia.
I'm going to take Philly. I'm going to take Philly too. The what's I think the stars are aligned right now for the Eagles. I don't and I to my knowledge, I don't think Miami has really beaten a really good team this year either. I think these are all games that and they've blown it up and they've been explosive on offense against really bad teams. Um, they scored 70 points on the Broncos, but then I mean they got fucking smashed by the Bills the next week. And then they've played what the Giants, the Panthers. I mean, just not very good teams. The Patriots, no, I think they'll play the Patriots next week, but they haven't played any really good teams. So I'm gonna go Philly here. I think Philly's gonna come out, and I think Miami's gonna have to prove that they can beat a good team. I don't want to say prove. I think they can beat good teams. It's just I don't know. I think
Didn't
Philly hates.
Philadelphia open the season with the Patriots?
Yes, I think.
I think they opened the season with New England.
I'm in Miami. Did I just have a whole rant about Philly? I meant
Oh.
Miami hasn't played well against teams. Like they scored 70 on the Broncos. Then they came out really like yeah, they
I
lost to the
understand. I understand.
Bills. Yeah, they got curb stomped by the Bills. So, but yeah.
It has gone. They've played the Chargers, the Patriots, Denver,
They did play the Patriots.
Buffalo. Yes, they did. They played the Giants, and then they played the Panthers.
So, I mean, they haven't played any like the Chargers they won week 1. But the Bills they lost to. But all these bad teams that they're beating, yeah, they're so um let's I think Eagles. We're just gonna go Eagles here.
Our Monday night game is we've got primetime Kirko Bangs. We've got San Francisco -7 traveling to Minnesota. San Francisco also lost this past week, and they lost to a third string quarterback in Cleveland. Minnesota looks kind of lost right now. I call me crazy, and I know you're going to. I'm going to take Minnesota.
So here's the thing. You talk about stats and you bring up this obscure stat sometimes. Here's one that I actually believe. Kirk
What
Cousins in prime
what
time.
what obscure stats do I bring up all the time?
Week 1. Steelers 49ers.
Okay, give me another example.
You just told me about the over under on the first game.
That didn't play any part into my decision. I just thought it was a fact that I came across today.
Obscure stat.
It felt it I was worth noting. It paid nothing into my decision though.
Kirk Cousins sucks in primetime games.
Wow, what an obscure fact that nobody would know. I had no idea that fact. I had no clue.
You didn't know that
Thank
one?
you for telling me.
You didn't know that one?
I had no clue. I
I
thought
knew
he
you were
was
an idiot.
great. I thought he was really good. I might have to change my pick actually.
Well, there you go. No, I don't. Kirk Cut and I think the 49ers are a little bit embarrassed. I don't know the health status of all the 49ers players, but um, I do think Minnesota. I wouldn't bet on this game. I'm going to pick this game, of course, but I wouldn't bet on this game if I could avoid it because I'm not sure what these two teams are going to come out of. So I'm going to go 49ers here on the reasoning that the 49ers are going to come out a little bit better and the Vikings have Kirk Cousins playing in prime time.
I think the reason why I took Minnesota is because of the health concerns with San Francisco.
Yeah.
Because of Trent Williams getting banged up, because of Debo, because of CMC. Like, you take away the three biggest parts of the offense, you're left with George Kittle, who has been a disappearing act basically all season, and you have Brandon Ayuk. That's it.
I think they'll be better prepared, though, if those guys don't play.
Yes, I agree. I think Kyle Shanahan will be able to cook up something for the other players on that roster in case some of those guys are
It's very
unable to
hard
go.
to lose a star, like star players or really good players during the game and adjust on there as a team. I think that is hard to do, but yeah.
We're gonna quickly go over our picks.
You better make it quickly. We're almost to an hour.
We we both have two free money games this week. We're both taking Jacksonville plus 1.5. This is one of Alex's free money games this week. We're both taking Tampa minus 2.5. We're both taking Washington minus 2. This is Alex's second free money game. This is my first free money game.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland, we're both taking minus 2.5. This is my other free money game this week. Detroit plus 3, we are both taking. We're both taking Las Vegas minus 3 over Chicago. We're both taking Buffalo minus 8.5. We're both taking Los Angeles minus 3 against Pittsburgh. We're both taking. I don't know why I keep looking at my sheet. If it's highlighted, we both took it. Seattle. That's why I do it. Seattle minus 7.5 against Arizona. We're both taking Denver plus 1.5 as home dogs. Both taking Kansas City minus 5.5. We're both taking Philadelphia minus 2 against Miami. I'm taking Minnesota. You're taking San Francisco. I think that's our only disagreements this week.
I thought there was another one.
No, that's it.
Well,
yeah. So I'll be making up no ground this week, but hopefully we both have good weeks.
Well, you will be making up one game, Garrett.
All right, just to go over the odds really quick, and then we'll get out of here for our free money games. Alex's free money games this week is plus 256. $10 wins you $25. My free games this week, 274. $10 wins you $27.45.
What, you think you're better than me?
Yes, I do. Alex, okay. Any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Nope. I think I had a search, but I didn't have anything come to mind.
I respect it. All right. As always, Chicksters down there at the bottom. My name's Garrett Burrows. Thanks for watching another episode. If you liked the video, please be sure to leave a thumbs up on it. Share it with a friend. Helps the algorithm boost us up on the old YouTube search bar there. If you have not subscribed already to the Vendetta Sports Media YouTube channel, be sure to do so and ring the bell so you never miss any more uploads coming out of the Vendetta Sports Media YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.